It's tough to build housing for people. It's tough to educate people when you're losing $140 to $200 billion a year. What I'm saying is the United States is it's very simple what I'm saying. The United States is systematically being ripped off by many of the wealthiest countries of the world. You look at Saudi Arabia. You want to see a lifestyle? Their poor people live better than our rich people, okay? You go look at Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and various of the other oil-producing countries. You'll see lifestyle because it's beyond belief. They have lifestyle because we give them their freedom and they give us nothing. I'm saying I want a piece of that. I want the money so that we can put the money into Harlem, so that we can give the money back to education. Because that's the big picture, but that's the real picture.
I'm astounded at what you're saying, because in the history of this country, we have never seen that kind of money, forget about trickle down, that kind of money conduited into the inner cities, into education.
Well, I think it has to be.
Well, maybe you better be in charge of not only getting that money back and seeing that it doesn't go over there, but that it goes into the inner cities, that it goes into job programs.
Is that an endorsement?
Huh?
We've come a long way. Is that an endorsement?
From the day I took office, I've been told that addressing our larger challenges is too ambitious. Such an effort would be too contentious. I've been told that our political system is too gridlocked, and that we should just put things on hold for a while. You see, Washington has been telling us to wait for decades, even as the problems have grown worse. Meanwhile, China's not waiting to revamp its economy. Germany's not waiting. India's not waiting. These nations they're not standing still. These nations aren't playing for second place. They're putting more emphasis on math and science. They're rebuilding their infrastructure. They're making serious investments in clean energy because they want those jobs. Well, I do not accept second place for the United States of America.
I pledge to never sign any trade agreement that hurts our workers or that diminishes our freedom and our independence. We will never, ever sign bad trade deals. America first. Again, America first.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country, and if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
It is about dealing with some unpleasant truths that exist in America today and having the guts to confront those truths.
I will tell you the plain facts that have been edited out of your nightly news and your morning newspaper. Nearly 4 in 10 African American children are living in poverty, while 58% of African American youth are now not employed.
A company neglects to invest in research and development, it is likely that that company will not be profitable. In a similar way, a society which neglects, which oppresses, and which disdains a very significant part of its population, which leaves them hungry, impoverished, unemployed, uneducated, and utterly without hope, will, through cause and effect, create a population which is bitter, which is angry, which is violent, and a society which is crime-ridden. And that is the case in America, and it is the case in other countries throughout the world.
The conditions which brought us as a nation to this point are well known. 2 decades of low productivity growth and stagnant wages, persistent unemployment and underemployment, years of huge government deficits and declining investment in our future, exploding health care costs and lack of coverage for millions of Americans, legions of poor children, education and job training opportunities inadequate to the demands of this tough global economy. For too long, we have drifted without a strong sense of purpose or responsibility or our community.
Like any cash-strapped family, we will work within a budget to invest in what we need and sacrifice what we don't.
President Obama has almost doubled our national debt to more than $19 trillion and growing. And yet, what do we have to show for it?
We will continue to go through the budget, line by line, page by page, to eliminate programs that we can't afford and don't work.
We are going to ask every department head in government to provide a list of wasteful spending on projects that we can eliminate in my first 100 days.
Understand, if we don't take meaningful steps to rein in our debt, it could damage our markets, increase the cost of borrowing, and jeopardize our recovery, all of which would have an even worse effect on our job growth and family incomes.
The politicians have talked about this for years, but I'm going to do it.
Our immediate priority must be to create jobs now. Some people say, well, we're in a recovery and we don't have to do that. Well, we all hope we're in a recovery, but we're sure not creating new jobs. And there's no recovery worth its salt that doesn't put the American people back to work.
People are hurting at home, and our standing has eroded around the world. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Jobs lost, houses gone, falling wages, rising prices. The biggest deficit in our nation's history. Money borrowed from the Chinese to buy oil from the Saudis. Putin in Georgia, Iran and Iraq. I ran for president to renew the promise of America, to rebuild the middle class and sustain the American dream, to provide opportunity to those who are willing to work hard for it and have that work rewarded.
I have joined the political arena so that the powerful can no longer beat up on people who cannot defend themselves. I have seen firsthand how the system is rigged against our citizens, just like it was rigged against Bernie Sanders. He never had a chance. Never had a chance.
Too many Americans are still being left out, left behind, and ignored. In the richest country in the history of the world, there is too much poverty, there is too much despair.
The problems we face now, poverty and violence at home, war and destruction abroad, will last only as long as we continue relying on the same politicians who created them in the first place. A change in leadership is required to produce a change in outcomes.
And he knows that government must be about we the people, not we the favored few.
Really? We know how much you love.
I love real estate. I love buildings. I'm building the tallest residential tower in the world right opposite the United Nations now. I love it. I love going there. I love being with the workers. I love walking in the concrete. I mean, it's hard to believe. And those are the people that vote for me, actually. The people building those buildings, all of those buildings, all over the country. I mean, the workers are the ones that really like me. I've often said the rich people hate me and the workers love me. Now, the rich people that know me like me, but the rich people that don't know me, they truly dislike me.
They are throwing money at her because they have total control over every single thing she does. She's their puppet, and they pull the strings.
I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing. This country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
Big business, elite media, and major donors are lining up behind the campaign of my opponent because they know she will keep our rigged system in place.
To the Bernie or bust people, you're being ridiculous.
To my mind, if we do not get a handle on money in politics and the degree to which big money controls the political process in this country, nobody is going to bring about the changes that is needed in this country for the middle class and working families.
Remember, all of the people telling you you can't have the country you want are the same people that wouldn't stand. I mean, they said Trump doesn't have a chance of being here tonight. Not a chance. No longer can we rely on those same people in the media and politics who will say anything to keep our rigged system in place. Instead, we must choose to believe in America. History is watching us now. We don't have much time, but history is watching. It's waiting to see if we will rise to the occasion and if we will show the whole world that America is still free and independent and strong.